You know those cat videos that you see on YouTube? Probably 1 every 4 seconds somewhere somebody's uploading a video on YouTube. And not too far from that is another upload being made with the Godox SL60W, which people are probably tired of seeing. Let's type Godox. I'm just showing SL60W. There you go. Upload date. Let's see the results. So somebody uploaded another 60W here 21 hours ago. The other one was 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 6 days, and then you keep scrolling. Now we are reviewing not the SL60W. That's why I have a cover on this baby over here. So let's review the thing. It's the 60Y. If you've been doing video cinematography for a long time, you probably know and remember and probably still use the hot Fresnel halogen ARRI lights. So before I own any LED lights, most situations when I have a job on location, I was dealing with daylight situations in which I have to put a CTB blue correction to daylight gel on these lights, which not only they draw a lot of power, they get super hot. So when you put a gel in there, you're losing from 1/4 to half or even 3/4 of the light output. And now the same problem that I have when I'm using my LEDs, 99% of the time I rely on LEDs like everybody else, but I still have a problem because when I kill this RGB lighting over here, that's not the lighting in this room. So this room is filled from back to back with tungsten lighting like every other household. So the problem here with the LEDs, I have to put some sort of a Velcro and some CTO orange gel on this to match my tungsten lighting, otherwise the color is not going to be right. So the W here stands for widely uploaded on the internet and the widely most popular lighting on the planet. But the Y here stands for why aren't people getting this, why don't people order, and why don't people find the use for that is beyond me, because this thing came from China. Godox sent me this light. I was very excited every day, every hour, tracking that thing until it gets here. So the moment that I unboxed the thing, I rushed downstairs here, I plugged it in, and I didn't even care yet for the how the tungsten lighting is going to look like. What I was looking for, first of all, was the fan noise. So all these lights here, I have modified the fan. I put a Arctic F8 fan here, and these lights are super quiet, but the temperature rises considerably if you don't know how to use this light after the modification. Now this light over here, as far as I remember, is a lot quieter than this light's stock fan. So I don't plan to make any modifications because, very surprisingly, the way this thing came in a box, you don't have to do anything. So I was very excited, number one, that I have a tungsten tool to match any tungsten lighting. So this is going to be in my bag all the time, along with these other lights over here. I also made a few tests, which I'm going to be showing you guys later. I actually opened the back of the unit here to see what's going on and why this fan is quieter, because apparently the fan is the same, or I'm not sure. I will have to open the front of the light, which I don't feel like it. All I gotta tell you is that this fan is very decently quiet. So I believe the way this light is with a stock fan, you'll be able to do your regular interview with the light very close to the subject. Even wearing a lavalier, I don't think you're gonna have a problem whatsoever. But if that is what you do, using the proper boom pole on an interview, you're gonna have zero problems. I didn't test this yet. I'm gonna be testing with you here on the making of this video to see how the fan is going to interfere with your recordings. So apparently the Godox SL60W, this I purchased about close to a year ago. It was still this year, but now I think because the fan noise complaints that they probably heard on YouTube, and this fan apparently seems a lot quieter than the fan that came with this light here. So I'm not going to bother making any modifications with this light. I'm going to leave the way it is, fully stock, because the noise that's producing, I know it's not going to be an issue whatsoever, even if you put the person 3 feet away from this light. And that's the same exact board, apparently. I thought it was going to be a different board. To me, it looks like the same exact thing. I think they just lower the voltage on the board to make the same fan run slower, because I can tell by the temperature here. So as you can see, the modified fan, 50 degrees at 100% is plenty safe, plenty okay. This light will shut off itself at 70 degrees Celsius. So right now we are 48 degrees Celsius or 118 Fahrenheit. For temperature, I always like Celsius because it's better. And this one at 42 is 107. This fan is quieter than usual, so I have a multimeter here and I'm gonna measure the voltage that's coming out of this thing here. It's kind of tight. So I have here 10.58 volts. So the fan, if they lower the voltage on the board, that's why the fan spin is a little slower. Also causes the temperature to go a little bit higher. So on the SL60W, let's see if this board is the same voltage here. There you go. Yeah, it's the same thing, 10.83. So I don't know, I guess they put a different fan on this light on the 60Y, at least on this copy that I got, because the voltage is reading the same. But all I gotta tell you is that that fan is quieter. It's a lot quieter than the original fan that came with this. I have 3 of these, so the fan's a lot noisier, but they did a good job providing a fan that's a lot quieter. So all my fans are modified. This is the only light that has not been modified, and I am not going to modify because, as you can hear, I'm filming with the iPhone. So as you can see, the fan noise is like minimal. I mean, even if you do an interview with a lavalier with the person 3-4 feet away from this, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. And the fan is very quiet, super nice. I also like this light because first, it is very inexpensive, kind of cute too, very light. You break this, you buy another one. And now I have both the tungsten and this, but I was very excited about the fan. So you're probably gonna be using this, of course, as a primary key light. So if the other lights don't match the little 5 or 10%, it doesn't really matter because they're gonna be the background lighting unless you put 2 lights over here, one key, the other one fill, and then you buy 2 of these. Now finally we're gonna be able to see together here for the first time how the lighting on this is gonna perform as a key light with the softbox and everything matching all the tungsten lighting in this room here. So right now I'm doing a quick and dirty setup here with no diffusion or anything like that. I just want to show you that's the problem that you're gonna get when you have a room that's full of tungsten light and this doesn't match at all unless you put a gel here, which is time consuming, and you also lose light intensity. So when you turn this on here, this is regular Home Depot lighting LEDs that this light will easily match it. And there you go. Same color, everything, no gels in the front. So I don't understand why people don't order this. A lot of manufacturers, they should actually start making the tungsten version, and even better, something crazy like user replaceable LED. Imagine instead of soldering the LED, they make the thing just ready, just like your electric panel outside. When the electric company comes to replace your meter, they just yank the thing out and then put the whole thing in there. You're talking about, like, 600 to 1,000 volts on the main current. So I don't see why manufacturers wouldn't be able to do a user replaceable LED. So all you have to do is make sure the light is powered off with the 4 clamps or whatever to clip it in or out, right? So you wait until the light cools off, take off the LED, and then put the tungsten here. When you're done, switch back to the other one. I think that's gonna be amazing thing. That's a tip if manufacturers are listening to this, either Aputure, Generay, Godox, whoever. That will be a very cool idea, and hopefully we'll be able to see this in the market sometime. Now let's do the right thing by putting a softbox here to see how this is gonna look like. On the white balance on the C100 Mark II, it's on purpose all messed up over there, so I'm gonna be zooming in on the gray card. And then let the camera do its white balance. Press the white balance here, and there should be 3300 Kelvin or 32 or something like that. 32, good enough. All right, so here is the accuracy of, to what I'm seeing, it looks pretty damn good. Any minor adjustments you can do in post-production, but this is the light at 100% of the 60Y. And this is the actual hourly light on the back there. So everything looks pretty damn good for a light of this price. Excellent. Now we're gonna be turning down the intensity to 50% and see what happens, to see if there's any shift in colors. Now the light here is at 50%. And let me just adjust my exposure here. There you go. Apparently still good. Excellent. Let's do like 20% and see what happens. And adjusting the exposure. The background might blow up a little bit. It's fine. Okay. I'm at ISO 2000 here. Let's do 10%. And more ISO. That will be a hint of magenta, but this is all the way down to 10%. These lights never work that great at 10%. And with the softbox, I'm at ISO 3200, and the box is like, I don't know, 4 feet away. So you probably want to use this light at least, I would say, at 30%, you know, with the softbox on. Then drop down the ISO to 1600. And then let's crank it up all the way to 50% again. And you, as you can see, you have a slight color shift, but like 1-3% or whatever. But at 100%, of course, it's gonna work at its best, I think. I'm just judging at the camera's display here. Let me lower the ISO a little bit. There you go. So as far as I can see, comparing to the, you know, doing a comparison with an actual ARRI tungsten light there with a real thing, with an actual tungsten bulb, that looks pretty nice. I was gonna even test to see what the Godox 60W would do with the gel. As a matter of fact, since we're here, let's do this. Now I have the Godox SL60W with the daylight setting, and the camera is set to 3200, so I have to do my color correction still. And the light is still in the back there doing its thing. So the first thing that I need to do is to install this gel here. That should do. Now, without touching anything, and then as you can see, the white balance is all whack. So let's do the white balance again. Okay, it says 3000 Kelvin now. And okay, as you can see, it's almost the same with the gel. But with the 60Y, you don't have to bother with this whole gel thing and heat, burn that gel and everything. In my opinion, this is a must buy, this light, because this room here is entirely with a tungsten light. At 10%, 15%, I don't know, maybe the color shifts a little bit, but it's a very minor thing. Now let's reduce the intensity of the light to, I don't know, 23% or something like that. Let me, there's a huge difference in color temperature there, as you can see with the tungsten. You know, unless a white balance right there. Without the gray card, let me just see what happens. Okay, 3200 Kelvin. And let's see what happens there. So it's okay still, it's a little bit yellow. Yeah, so okay, the 60Y in my opinion wins.
I'm a right clicker. I'm an iBook flipper.
Now I'm gonna test that mother flicker. So right now I'm doing a test with the SL60Y using a C100 Mark II Canon. And we're starting at 10% right now. And the only thing they need to pay attention here is the shutter speed. Forget about the ISO, it doesn't matter what aperture I'm at. I have to kind of do some variations here as I change the lighting, okay? So you want to be paying attention here. And it's usually a good idea to keep the image darker so you can actually have a better judgment with flickering, okay? So it's gonna get a little darker now. So 1/60th, 75, 90, let me bump up the ISO a little bit. And then 100. I'm not going to exceed 300 because who shoots higher than 300 in a studio? So that's silly. So 150. 180. I can see a little bit of flicker there. This is at 10%, okay? This light works with a postcode modulation, whatever the thing is. What happens is the light is blinking like this, so it gives you the illusion that the light is being dimmed. But when the light is at 100%, it doesn't blink anymore. That's why you have no flickering issues with any LED lights. So at a 10%, you can only shoot between 60, assuming you were filming at 30 frames per second. Even at 60, you want to keep it at 60, which is not really, you know, you're supposed to double the frame rate, but this is what you get at 10%. So at 160 is okay. 100 is also okay, I guess. But you're not going to be shooting this thing at 10% unless you have this thing bare bone like this, because when you put a softbox there, you're going to need to shoot this at least 30%. Let's jump to 50, okay? Something reasonable here. And then we're going back to 60, of course. I'm gonna drop down my ISO to a darker screen, even the iris a little bit. Now you can see what's going on. So at 160, no problem, I think. It's hard to tell looking at the camera's monitor here. 175, 190, 100, 120, gotta bump up my ISO a little, 150, ISO again, 180, 210, and 250, and 300. Make it brighter just in case. Go back to the dark. Go back to 60 here. And now I'm gonna be blasting this to a full 100%, which you should have no problem whatsoever at any setting. Let me lower the ISO here and lower the iris a little bit. That should be okay. So again, 160, 75, 90, 100. Let me bump up the ISO. Actually, you know what? Let me open my iris instead for the better quality image. Okay, and then 120, 150, 180. Open the iris more. That's a full f4. 210, 250. Bump up the ISO a little. 1300. Now I'm gonna go stupid crazy here. Let's do like, I don't know, 2,000 of a second. If there is any flicker here, I can't really tell on the camera screen, but who shoots at that speed other than sunlight, you know, or whatever. So in the studio, you want to do like 160, 1.2 something for green screen work, 1,300 even when somebody's moving fast, but at 2,000 or 1,000, that's stupid. But I'm showing you here anyway at 2,000s, and even ISO 4,000 here to get you a brighter display here, just for the heck of it. So as you can see, there's no problem shooting with this light at 100, from 100 to like, I don't know, 30. At 10%, you can only shoot lower shutter speeds like 60, 75, maybe 90. That's how it is. And the lights that I changed the fan, you cannot use this light at 10% at all. It has to be at a minimum of 24% or 23, as far as I remember, if you want to modify the fan of your Godox 60W. But this one here, if you buy this, you don't need to modify nothing. The fan is pretty decent. Just in case you're in the dark, this features a backlit display. And just in case you cannot go past 25% down, it's because this thing comes shipped on the wrong color temperature. It's 4200 or 35, it doesn't matter. You have to go all the way to 33, and then you can actually go down to 10%. And the next button, that's where you select your channels there, by the letters and numbers, the same button. And also to turn it off, turn it back on. Another interesting thing that most people don't know, this light has some sort of a memory. Let's say that the light is at 81%, and then you set the light to 13%, and then you turn off the light. As soon as you turn it back on, it's gonna go back to the 81% and not 13%. You have to wait at least 40 seconds to a minute for the light to memorize the very last setting before you power the unit off. Next, we're going to be doing a quick sound test here, and this light is actually no more than 3 feet away from me. It's got a softbox in the middle there, and I'm wearing an omnidirectional lavalier. I'm going to be quiet here for 5, 8, 10 seconds so you can hear what's going on. So that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps me a lot. For everybody else who's already subbing to the channel, so please continue to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And also, please continue to comment. I love comments. I respond to everything. And also, again, thank you very much for your time watching one more of my reviews. Have a good day or a good night.